But you think about it, so I've been able to do over 1,200 now furnished apartments. So all these are all kitchen and dining tables, and then this is furniture that's kind of ready to go out. A little bit of combination of everything. Over here, these are all desks, so they get a place, but the VA doesn't supply anything. They might get them kitchen, maybe a bed, but that's it. They're on their own, so they're be depressing, right?
Absolutely.
When you walk in, it's like whoa, boom, everything. So it's like you know Dr. Simone.
No.
So Chris, he's on the board for Dr. Simone Open Doors, and they have 5 locations. They have one in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
They have one in Mountain View, which I furnished the whole building for them. And then they got San Mateo, and then they got San Francisco. They're in the War Memorial Building. So her concept is narrative therapy, where it's a therapy. So she doesn't charge for therapy for vets or first responders or low income people. And it's more about no drugs, none of that. It's just talking it out and kind of rerouting people.
That's beautiful.
With trauma. This is so cool. So just a couple of weeks ago, I had the idea. I talked to my church. We hold about, 700 people. I said, let's host an event here, because I took some of the folks from the church to meet her in a presentation in her office in San Jose, so they could meet her. Meet her. Yeah. And then they're like, oh my God, okay, we're on board. So I was in the county commission's office yesterday, and we talked about having this event. So I got it going. We're going to get the San Mateo County on board.
That's beautiful.
Supervisors and so what the event will be is probably, it'll be like a 4-hour event where we'll have 4. We were going to do it homelessness one part, and the other part was going to be suicide. But we decided let's focus on suicide. And then the commissioner goes, John, we got to navigate the county, so politically. So we'll have to have like 4 different speakers.
Okay.
Her, because she has narrative therapy, but the VA has their system, and then maybe a spiritual side. So we get 4 different, so people can think, oh, there are alternatives.
Yeah.
Because you know what happens? A lot of military first responders, they don't want to go say they got a problem because they're afraid of their pension, getting fired, getting written up. So I think they need to have a big conversation. Yeah. So we're going to start with this.
That's very beautiful.
I'm excited. Yeah. These are all bar stools. These are all kitchen kits. I belong to the Elks and the Lions clubs, and I've gotten them to build kitchen kits and donate. So really networking, because the Elks and Lions are very deep in with veterans. I don't know if you knew this. The Elks started in the 1800s.
I didn't know them.
They're a Christian service organization, and when they started, World War I, 1917, they raised $1 million. They built a field hospital in France. They built a 700-bed hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, for the wounded coming home for reconstructive surgery. They were like the first VA. There was no VA. The Elks Lodge. So the Elks have been deep involved with veterans, their whole history. A lot of people, the younger generation doesn't know about all this stuff. Beds. These are bigger dining sets. Sleeping bags. I give these out in the San Francisco and the Tenderloin in the winter. My trouble is I'm one guy. I work every day as a mover.
Yeah.
Pay my guys to help me. I mean, this has been doing this just me the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm not even a nonprofit. I got this warehouse. I don't want more. I don't need paperwork. I haven't been good with paperwork. But see all the, everything's nice, right?
Yeah, everything is very nice.
And then this is all white furniture. So when there's little girls or women, I'll do it in white.
Can you just tell us about yourself? How did you get involved into helping veterans?
It started, they were asking at my church if anybody wanted to help out with their veterans ministry. They were asking people in the church who had apartment buildings if they wanted to rent them out to vets. And I was thinking about it. I thought, well, I'm a mover, and maybe I could help move them or get them furniture or do something. And I'm also in recovery. So maybe that would be a way to help. So I went to the gentleman after church and said, hey, I might be interested in this. And I already knew the guy. So he says, yeah. He says, well, yeah, what would you like to do? And I said, whatever I can. He goes, okay. So I guess it's funny how things happen. All of a sudden, he found a guy at the church says, hey, I got an apartment building in San Bruno. I will rent out 2 of my units to the VA, for HUD-VASH veterans. And he said, great. So he contacted, there's a veteran VA social worker at San Bruno, Jeff, and they kind of hooked up. And Jeff says, hey, I got a guy, perfect. It's a young guy, and he's going to college, but he needs, place. He's living in his van. So he called me, says, hey, John, we got a vet. We're going to get housed. And I said, okay, great. And then we could probably get him in a couple of weeks. So I said, okay, and I, already had some furniture because, being a mover for 40 years, I had furniture donated to me all the time and access. And so I just kind of networked and got a date, and we went, and he didn't have anything, and I fully furnished his apartment. And I'm like, wow, this was great. And he was so excited. And it was, all the furniture I get is really nice. So it's kind of a blessing to start somebody out, with nothing, and they're trying to start over, and then they feel like, wow, now they got some skin in the game. They, this is their stuff, and this is their little apartment, and, give them hope. So that was the first one.
Yeah.
And then that was 1,200 apartments ago. It just all fell together, kind of, for me, it's a God thing. God just took over, and it just felt right. And within maybe a month, sorry,
It's okay.
I'm going to turn this off. My neighbor was moving, and she said, hey, John, I got some furniture. You said you were going to help vets. And then the daughter works for this company, Essex Corporation. They have 50,000 properties on the West Coast, and they manage them.
Okay.
And they said, hey, John, we got some units at some buildings. We have staged furniture. It's all brand new.
Yeah.
We have three-bedroom apartments. It's all yours for the vets, everything. TVs, furniture, bedding, kitchen, sofas. And it was all brand new designer furniture. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And I always know, jump at something like that. You don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll grab it. And I, went there. I said, I could be there tomorrow. Went there and I changed my moving jobs around and loaded up the truck. And now I'm going, what am I going to do with all this? So I, started calling the people that initiated this whole thing. And they said, oh, well, John, we're not ready for all this. I mean, we hadn't planned anything like this. So what I did is I called the social worker from San Bruno that I'd met.
Yeah.
And said, hey, I got this furniture, Jeff, at any uses. He goes, I'm going to call you right back. He calls me back, says, you call this girl in San Francisco, VA Julia. And she says, John, yeah, we got. So she gave me a list, and I spent the whole next week delivering all this furniture all over San Francisco to all these veterans. And it just kind of blew up from there. When I first met the Jeffrey from the VA, and I did the first apartment, and I always give everybody my card, say, look, call me 24/7. I'm always available. Just give me a call. So he texted me, hey, I'm a veteran, John. Any chance you'd have a sleeping bag or a tent? He's sleeping in a field, and he doesn't have anything. I said, oh, sure. And I went to where he was supposed to be staying. He's sleeping behind a Wendy's in San Bruno, and went there a couple times. I could see somebody was staying there, but he wasn't there. So I went early one Sunday morning. It was like 6 a.m. Figured I'd catch him then. And there I walk up. There's a wheelchair laying there. And then I go a little farther, and he's kind of laying under some cardboard. And I kind of wake him up, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm John. Jeff,
Yeah.
told me about you. He goes, oh, man, dude. And he sits up and, hang on a second. And he cracks open a beer, takes a big swig. I'm in recovery, so I understand, right? And then he goes, hang on a second. He's trying to get orientated, and then he just pulls up his sleeve and he grabs his syringe and does his deal, right, with the dope.
You see everything over there right in front of you.
Yeah, and I go, dude, you're good. You do what you have to do, okay? And I says, well, I'm going to come back in a couple hours. I'm going to bring you a tent, a sleeping bag, and food, but you be here. And there he was, it was probably about 11. And then I set up the tent, I says, hey, I can help you get me in the recovery center. I go, I know a lot of people. I went through recovery for 40 years. So I've been to this rodeo many times. And he says, oh, I'm good. I go, it's okay. Let's start you here. At least you could stay warm at night, and so the guy from the VA called me and said, John, I can't believe you that you did that. So I just, he realized that I was serious. He could count on me. So we've had a relationship. Now we're on a committee together with the Veterans Commission. We're putting on a bunch of events. It just manifests itself of helping veterans.
Is there any specific story or in a specific moment that made you realize that you have to focus on veterans?
Very much from the first veteran that I helped. My father was the military. All the uncles, most all the males in my family served. Unfortunately, I was addicted to drugs at 12 years of age, so the military wasn't looking for me to serve. So it just felt right. And my grandfather was World War II. He was on a ship in the South Pacific. I didn't realize my father was very, very hardcore. I didn't realize I was raised in the military officially because my father was cut my hair every 2 weeks. Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean, he was, you never back down to anybody. You help people. If you die helping somebody, that's just the way it is. He just put all these certain things instilled in me that I didn't realize till later in life that he had done. And I had a lot of anger and hatred of him because he also drank a lot. He was a very angry, violent person. So I had a lot of resentments towards him. But later in life, I realized, oh my gosh, this is all from my dad. And, he only did best he could, guiding me.
What was the reason or what made you realize to get out of drugs life and what keeps motivating you helping veterans now?
Okay, so I started drugs at 12 and I used drugs for 40 years. Back in 85, I wanted to get sober. I had a business, I had 2 buildings, a body shop, and pretty doing good. But cocaine took me down again, which it always did. So I realized, I always knew I had a problem. I couldn't stop. So I just decided on my own to go to a recovery center. And that was in 85 and try to get sober and to start going to this program and start going to meetings. And I loved the meetings. I loved the people. I loved everything about it. But for whatever reason, I cannot stay sober. I kept going back. I loved the people. For whatever reason, I was so headstrong, I could not stay sober. So for 40 years, I battled. And so it's been 16 years I've been clean now. I was going to a recovery meeting at a Christian church. I'd grown up in the Catholic church, but really didn't have a connection to God. So I went to this Christian church and went to this meeting, and I loved the meeting, loved the people, same deal. But for whatever reason, one Sunday, I just thought I'd check out the church, and I wandered in the church. And that day, for me, the Holy Spirit showed up. The whole ceiling came off the church. It was like a bright light. And I've been sober ever since. And my life's been blessed, and it's been about service. And I realized, God's keeping me sober. It's not me. And I need to serve him and do his will. And for me, it's helping other people. So, I basically committed the rest of my life to serving God and helping people.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your life before helping veterans.
I've been around pretty much every type of person that you could.
That's beautiful.
Cowboys, bikers, islanders, good old boys.
That's beautiful.
Rednecks. It's been a gift. Now I realize it's kind of a gift. Just go anywhere, talk to anybody, feel comfortable.
Yeah.
When you do a lot of different things in your life, you could always strike out conversations.
Yes. How was your connection to the faith and recovery that you had from drugs? And like, how did it influence you to approach or start helping the veterans?
Oh, okay. So as I started doing this from the very beginning, I'm an addict alcoholic.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain, but we kind of just, when we connect on some level, like whether you're sober or not sober or whatever. So when I meet all these vets, they went through the HUD-VASH program.
Yeah.
To the VA, so they've been chronically homeless for 1 year or more. And, I kind of know most of them either come from the street, homeless, or shelter. And a lot of them come from recovery centers. So, I already know. And, I'll just strike up conversation. I said, where were you at? I was in the DOM, which is the mental part. Yeah, oh, really? Okay, cool. They says, how long you been clean? They'll say like 6 months. I go, hey, congratulations. I'm 16 years sober, but, it took me 40 years to get there. So never give up. So I have going through so many struggles in my life.
Yeah.
It's so many, I understand the struggle in people. Like, all I can tell people is two things. Do not give up. Never give up. It never, but at the same time, for the people helping, don't enable people, but don't give up on them. Never give up, but don't enable them. Or the two things so all these vets, I always talk to them and invite them to a meeting, invite them to church. I said, if you feel funny in the middle of the night, you can call me anytime. I've been there, done that. I've done it all, experienced it all. And, I'd like to take all my bad and help you out so you don't have to go through what I have.
So, like when you look at the veterans, when you help them, right? And what do you want? What do you hope they feel from your efforts?
What I'd like to see them be able to get sober. And I also understand it's a lot more than just homelessness and addiction. There's a lot of other parts to it. A lot of it is loneliness.
Yeah.
People are disconnected from family, from friends. Hence, that's why I start this Christmas party every year is, that whole factor of loneliness and, they want to feel loved. And, I realize that there's two things that people need is love and discipline. And that's usually missing in most people in recovery, that are struggling of addiction. They don't feel loved and, they just are disconnected from society, from people. And it takes a while to build trust and get people to understand, that they're okay. They're not bad people, but they need to change. And I tell people when I speak in recovery meetings that, getting sober is the tip of the iceberg. Now you got to change who you are. You have to change all these character defects because people ask me, well, John, what is it being an addict alcoholic? I say, well, my experience has been most alcoholics are selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, narcissistic, angry, rageful, dishonest, all the character defects. And getting sober is great, but that's just the start. Until you change all the other parts, you're going to be that same person, whether it's sober or using. So it's important to, get sober, and change. It's all about change. And for me, I found a God in my life, and that's who's guided me. I needed that. I couldn't do it without it. I tried everything else. And when I got a connection to a God, that's what's truly helped me. And I realized that if I focus on helping others, it gets me out of my self-centeredness and my selfishness and narcissistic behavior and putting all my efforts into another person instead of just John. And it's not just the John show. It's, caring for other people. And it's just been the hugest change in my life. And it's kind of created who I am today. And I kind of live by it today,
Yeah. Walk us through your planning for Frank's surprise birthday party and what was your mindset while you were organizing the surprise party for him?
So, I joined the Elks Lodge and got on their veterans committee. Made sense, right? More connections. And I get the Elks to donate kitchen kits for vets and worked with this committee, and they were excited for me to be part of it because I have so many connections in the VA world, and it just was a perfect match. They have they can have 700 people there for dinner, so I can have events there. It's been a Christmas party, stand down there, networking luncheon. Do about 5 or 6 vets a year. I belong to the Lions Club. We have a Veterans Lions Charities fundraiser night, and I'm able to get the venue for all this, and it's just all blended together nicely to help people. So that's been a blessing.
While you were helping veterans, did any moment was so unexpectedly like touched you and you remember that for like that's a special moment to you?
I'll be honest, every time I help a veteran, there's always some I can't explain, but when I walk away, it's just joy. It's like, wow, a part of helping this person start over, or you're giving them hope, giving them light. Frank's, I got to know Frank through the Elks Lodge. He's been a member there 62 years. Just a great guy. We just clicked. So a couple of years ago, I had my first Christmas party at the Elks. I had him as a guest speaker, and he spoke for me. And so we just maintained a friendship and kind of got close. And then I heard it was his 100-year birthday. So I went to the committee at the Elks and said, hey, why don't we do a birthday party for Frank? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I could kind of get it all together. And I already have been working with a caterer quite a bit on all these events because they always give me a very good rate. So that worked really well. And, I just got excited. Whenever I do things, I'm full of excitement and just love doing it and love.
What was his reaction when he walked into the surprise party and what it meant to you?
Oh, that was amazing. So I had contacted Channel 5 and said, hey, I'm going to have this surprise birthday party. And I already had a connection with somebody at Channel 5, Sharon Chin, who gave me the Jefferson Award years before. And she said, yeah, we'll be there to film it. And then I went to the county and got all the supervisors to come. And then I got Judge Wendler, Superior Court Judge, is an active Marine Colonel. I got him to do it. He couldn't be there. He was going to be deployed that week, but he had made up a declaration for Frank. And then I got the county to make a declaration, and then the Elks Lodge. And it was just exciting. Got all these folks together. There's probably about 300 people there. And I talked, French with his son. So he brought him, I set the time. So he kind of brought him in a little later, and I bring him to the bar because we'll have everybody outside the bar there wait for him. So the door opened, and I said, Frank, a few friends stopped by to say hi. And he was like, just, overwhelmed. It was amazing. And he so rightly deserves it.
Absolutely.
He fought in the South Pacific, and interesting guy. He was fought World War II, came home, went back, got a degree in engineering, ended up working with nuclear. He was actually on site for 2 nuclear bomb tests, and then before he retired, he's working at the Stanford Linear Accelerator. With the fusion for, the nuclear. Yeah. Kind of amazing story from a guy that was on a ship in the South Pacific to end up retiring,
And live 100 years.
Yeah, and live 100 years. Have 3 great kids and, service community.
What was a good story a veteran shared with you?
There's so many, but there's one veteran. So I kind of got a little group of 100-year-old vets or 100-year-olds. They're all World War II vets. And there's one particular, Mr. Raleigh, and he served, he was on a bomber. And they would go out at night. They'd hunt submarines during the day, then they'd go out at night on bombing raids. And on one of his missions, they were shot down, and everybody got out of the plane but him, and they thought he was dead. And he came to and got out of the fuselage before it sank. And he didn't have a life jacket on, or he had his life jacket on, but when he swam out, there was one of the other guys didn't have a life jacket, so he took his off and threw it to him. Said, here's a gift. And he just treaded water. And I guess in high school, he was a big surfer in LA. Yeah, he's a really small guy, too. It's kind of amazing. So they came for rescue and they couldn't fit everybody. So he just waved the rescue guys on, said, take them and then come back for me. So he just treaded water. And then, he obviously got saved. And then he had some stories. They used to keep a pet monkey in their plane. I mean, this is stuff you couldn't even make up in a movie. Another time they came back to base and they had like 80 bullet holes in the fuselage. Ooh. And nobody got hit. I mean, it's just stories like that. And it's just like, when they tell them, it's just like, no big deal. That's just, laugh. It was part of it.
So in your view, why is it so important to honor and show love to veterans from World War II, and especially those who are still among us?
Well, I personally, where I've come today, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but I feel like there'll never be another generation of men like they were in World War II. Over 16 million American men fought in World War II. And they were 16, 17 years old. Everybody just signed up 100%. We're going to, they wanted to fight for our country. And they had this hardcore, I'm trying to think of the word, dedication for our country. And they just, there's just the stories and the things they did, going in at 17 and they're 16, and then one individual got wounded in Germany and they sent him back to the States and they found out he wasn't even 18 and they kicked him out, and he got out of the hospital and went from the one branch of the service to another branch, signed up, and then back in Europe again and got wounded again. And they found out he wasn't 18. But by the time he was 18, he was able to stay in. I mean, just stories like that. That's the heart of America. That's the heart of our country.
Yeah.
Freedom. And freedom does not come for free. That is the one thing I could definitely learn. Freedom is not free. It's hard fought and hard worked for.
So what do you think we should do to keep their stories among the young generations?
Well, I think we should really honor our veterans a lot more. And I try to do it any way I can. I just had 150 Sarah High students come to the Elks Lodge and interview 15 vets, some of them World War II, and write stories about them and ask them questions. I think we can't lose that generation because, there's less than 40,000 World War II vets left out of 16 million. So we're only going to be blessed to have them for a few more years with us. And we need to really honor them and maintain, who they were and what they did for us.
Absolutely, I agree.
I don't know if I word stuff good.
That's good. It's totally fine.
I try to. I'm not thinking of other words. I can't think of them. My memory's.
That's okay. Because
patriotic. That was the word I was looking for.
Oh, patriotic.
Yeah, they were just so patriotic, and patriotism is something that we cannot lose in our country. That is our fabric of who we are. Our patriotism for, our country and our people. And, I know that our country is getting divided and everything, but we got to set all that aside and look at the big picture of who we are as a nation. And, we're here and we want to help other people,
And can you share, how your nonprofit organization is started and what is the mission and what is going on day-to-day operations?
So it's kind of crazy. I went so fast, and I'm not a good paper person, good with a computer or anything. And I just the whole thing, I do have a moving company, but I just learned that everything I do is by text. I don't even know how to send an email. And when I got these different videos done by social media, I started a website that had somebody help me out with, and which I still struggle maintaining because I'm just not the computer person. but I've been able to just to kind of get it done. I never became a nonprofit. I don't want to become a nonprofit.
Okay.
I don't want to lose what I'm doing. I want to help our veterans, and that is my only goal. And I've learned ways to navigate and get others on board and understand we're on a mission together to help our vets. It's seeing these vets. What I truly understand that America, for me, I've never been to another country. I don't even need to go to another country. Know that I live on the greatest country in the world. And I also know, are we perfect? No. Man is broken, doesn't matter where you are. But overall, I believe we are the best country and have the biggest hearts. And we can't lose sight of that.
And what do you think are the biggest needs that we have for our veterans nowadays?
I think we need to address a lot of issues, which I'm actually working on, trying to put together an event for suicide. We have 17 veterans a day in the United States commit suicide, which I think is ridiculous. These men and women served our country. And I do know that the only reason that I live in this beautiful, free country is from the men and women that have served from the beginning of time in the United States. That is the only reason we're a free country. And if you look at history, if it wasn't for the United States, I think most of the world would be speaking German.
I agree.
I think that if it wasn't for the U.S., it's sacrifice. We're a free country, and we got to protect our rights.
So, any like a story that from a veteran's life that by your help, their life changed completely and they are like in a totally different place in life now because of your help?
I don't want to say it's because of me, but I feel like I could be part of it. Whether it's that they get sober, that they get connected, that they maybe get a job, that they have their little apartment but feel secure and have something, have some stake in the game, and there's a lot more. See, I walk away a lot of times feeling that I need to do more. Like, okay, they got them housed, but you furnished it, but they're still alone. They need to be connected. They need jobs. They need um, a lot of support, and that's where a big part of what I've been working with this organization, Open Doors, trying to get our veterans wraparound services, whether it's mental fitness, whether it's recovery, whether it's finding a job, learning to use a computer, just having a friend to talk to, have somebody take them to a doctor's appointment, maybe go clean their house. That's where I feel like the community needs to step up. And a lot of these organizations, whether it's churches or Lions or Elks or all these different service organizations, need to step up and fill that void.
Like, what are the biggest challenges that you face emotionally and logistically when you're trying to help a veteran or a homeless veteran?
Okay. So doing this, I've been doing this 8 years now, and I've learned so much. And I realize my mission is to help people. And that the biggest part of that, and also being in recovery, I understand that I have to meet people where they're at. And a lot of times, VA said, makes me get in contact with a veteran. Hey, I'm going to bring your furniture tomorrow. So I set aside a day of my work to just help the vet and go deliver to some veterans. Load up the truck, get to the house. He's not there. No show. A lot of times, maybe he's relapsed or just whatever. There's a lot of fear involved in them. If they've been on the street more than 3 years, it's really hard to acclimate to having their own place because they've been so used to kind of just not having anything around them or over them, like no rules. So, and I've learned a lot of that. So it's disappointing sometimes and frustrating, but I look, okay, why are you doing this? You're doing this to help folks. And you can't judge where they're at in their life and what they're thinking. And, you can't expect no expectations. I don't have any expectations. I just do my best and help. And, there's one particular vet, I housed him. He relapsed. He got evicted. And about a year later, he finally got in the program, got another place. Boom, got kicked out, lost everything. Unfortunately, yes, I was angry. Like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, you're all set up. You got your place, and then I'm realizing, wait a second, John, how many times did you relapse? How many times did you screw up? Did everybody just shut you out and say, forget it? So the third time I helped him, I went, oh my God, I think he's got it this time. He had found a church he was going to. He was excited. Got a job. And I just totally go, oh, I'm happy. He's going to make it. He's going to make it. So, it's just a lot of experiences, I guess, shapes what we're doing, our thinking, and who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been, blessed. So yeah, it's just been a lot of, I've learned so much. I love people. I understand people's, I mean, everything that a person's been through, I've experienced,
Yeah.
even attempting suicide. I've been there. I've done that. So I get it. But I also get there's another way and there's another side of light. And it's all about following the light. And for me, following the light, it's just been amazing. And I kind of a person that all my life experiences, that's how I operate. And I, make my assumption or whatever, of what's going on is by my experiences. And for me, the way my life is going now, helping folks, there's nothing to me. I've won the Holy Grail.
You sometimes like feel overwhelmed, like it is really hard, but then how do you push that? How do you push through it?
Oh yeah, that's unfortunately this has become like 24/7 of my life, and I'm almost 70. I have a heart defibrillator. I got diabetes. Been a mover my whole life, so my joints, my back. I have a lot of medical issues.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm super tired. Sunday morning, I could barely walk. Had a big job the day before, but I'll be like kneeling out of bed and then trying to stand up. And my wife's going, "What are you doing? You're not going to help veterans again today, are you? Are you crazy? You can't walk. Are you?"
Yeah.
And I go through a lot of that, but I'm going to go help them. I just can't not. I've driven. There's a drive inside of me that's almost like the drive I had for drugs when I was using. That drive has been changed to helping people, and the benefits of it, just seeing people smile or feel relaxed or have a place or
Yeah.
getting sober.
So what do you say, or what do you advise to the person, someone who wants to help but he doesn't know or she doesn't know from where to start?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm one of those people like, well, what am I going to do? I'm one person. And then now I'm like, holy smokes. I'm, this is amazing what's happened in my life. I'm meeting all these people, and, whether it's a senator, congressman, or, people in public office, or, a judge reaching out to me to speak in his courtroom. I mean, believe me, all these people weren't looking to me when I was in my addiction. And to have the feel and respect of all these people has been amazing. And it's really shown me that anything's possible. Like anything is possible. And, I have this warehouse donated to me for the veterans. It's over 16,000 square feet. The rent would be $40,000 a month. And for the last 5 years, I haven't had to pay a penny. It's donated to me. I mean, it just all happens. It's just, as I keep serving, for some reason, doors keep opening. And, I run by my faith. And that's been a big part of it, trying to navigate everything and just trust and faith. So that's basically trust and faith. And I think when you get to a point where you could put others before yourself, things will work out for you. And it's just doing it. We're so consumed, especially today in our society, we're so consumed with ourselves. I mean, I call this the new Holy Trinity is me, myself, and I. And unfortunately, it's kind of sad because everybody is missing out on probably the greatest feelings of accomplishment of when you help other people and feeling like, wow, this is, I've never got this feeling doing anything else. No matter how much money I had, how much, whatever, this is so amazing. You just have that heart, that faith in other people.
I wish you good luck with everything. Like, what is your plan for the next few years?
I've never really I just kind of marched and just get it done, and the doors keep opening. And I would definitely can see what I do being replicated across the country, uh, especially people like in the moving industry that wanted to help our veterans, and they already got all the infrastructure to pick up furniture when they're doing their jobs. It's just getting people involved, and I'll be honest, it's tough to get volunteers, especially to move furniture. Because not everybody wants to move furniture. It is tough, but the rewards. When you serve, it's easy. I belong to a Christian church. I belong to the Elks. I belong to the Lions. I'm kind of connected everywhere. And a lot of people, I want to sign up, and help out one day. Yeah, that's great. For me, it's easy to set a day aside or a couple hours or write a check or bake cookies. But how about, it's late Friday night and you get a call from the VA. Hey, we have a vet, fell through the cracks. We're putting him, he's getting his keys tomorrow. He's 92 years old. We have nothing for him. Is there any way you can help out with a bed or some basic furniture? And say I had something set aside for Saturday and I push that off and I go help that vet. To me, that's serving. It's not always going to be easy and fun. And it's going to be a heartache. But you know what? At the end of the day, you've helped somebody that had no other resources other than you.
I agree. Do you have any upcoming project or plans that that excite you or that you're motivated about?
Yes, a lot actually. So I've been able to network. God has always put all these great people in my life and all these different organizations like Open Doors, Dr. Simone, the county, Ed, the county Veterans Commission officer, and I work with the county Veterans Commission and the Elks and the Lions, and we have all these events coming up, and we had a stand down. We're able to help out a lot of veterans. It's a one-day event where the veterans can come and get resources, and we have also judges and stuff there that help out with their criminal issues, court cases or whatever, warrants, pro bono, they'll help them out, DMV, whatever. Just all these different events we're doing. I have a Christmas party every year. This year we had about 400 folks. A lot of them were HUD-VASH vets, formerly housed homeless vets, because they're lonely. They don't have family around Christmas, so we have it the Friday before Christmas every year. I get all community partners on board, the San Mateo PD and the Elks Lions, Veterans Commission, Veteran Services. Just get everybody together. It's not about one organization. It's about all of us together, working together. The stand down we're having again this year. We're having a networking luncheon. We started it 3 years ago at the Elks Lodge, and we get together about 150 veteran services, and they all get to meet and greet, find out about each other, because the whole process of I've been doing this, there's been no connection. Veteran service, nobody knew that there was other services. Like a VA social worker would call me, hey, John, blah, 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 I need a bed. I don't have a bed right now or whatever, but you can go to Nation's Finest. They'll get them a bed or this or that, or they can go to Life Moves to get their deposit. Just all these resources. Or there's recovery. There's Open Doors for recovery. They have computer classes. So we get all these folks together, have a luncheon. They all meet and greet and connect. So it's all about connecting. And then all these veteran services providers working together to help. One common goal is to help our veterans. And then we have like fundraiser dances, celebrate 100-year-old veterans. If there's a 100-year-old vet having a birthday, I'm going to have a party for him. So anything like that, I love it. And whatever any people have ideas, I'd love to hear them. If anybody wants to get involved and help our veterans, because I think we do not take care of our veterans and respect why we have this free country. It's only because of these veterans. We can't never forget that.
I agree. And what would be your, or what is a good message that you could leave with people who are watching this video about veterans, about your help, about your organization?
Well, I think one thing people really got to look around. It doesn't take. We have so much social media today. Look around at the rest of the world and all these countries, and we'll talk to somebody that grew up in another country that somehow got here, and talk to them and listen to them and say what they are so grateful to be here because they've seen the other side that we don't get to see and we haven't experienced. Thank God. And we really got to understand how free we are and how we're, and respect that. And then realize that we need to thank the men and women that have created that freedom for us, put their lives on the line. Like I said, all these veterans that come home, they struggle. They've seen a lot stuff that they see in another country that doesn't happen here. So you don't have to see and experience it. So
I'm one of them, John.
Yeah, I know.
I'm from a different country. I live different life, and I came over here, and I love this country with everything of it.
I mean, where other country could you badmouth the president of the United States and nothing happen? Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
You know what I mean? I mean,
yes.
You would disappear if you're in another country. And everybody complains about it. And I'm like, I just go, wow, what are we doing? We're so blessed to be here. And like, look at us today. We're driving on it's beautiful day. No work. You know what? There's no bombs falling. There's, it's just.
It is beautiful.
We're so blessed.
We are so blessed.
And then I just wish that more people would just really understand how blessed we are and understand we need to come together more.
I agree. So that was all of my questions, John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.